Okay. Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome to another Good Gut Live. Um, we are live. Today's topic is going to be a good one. And we are, for those watching live, thank you. We are streaming on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I think Twitch, all these cool platforms. So thank you. And now we are, yes, it is Friday. So we are live. Again, for those that don't know, my name is James Marin. I'm an integrative registered dietitian, environmental nutritionist. I'm joined by my co-host here, but she is off screen, Charcoal, our dog. But so it'll be a solo episode today. Dahlia is not with me, as you can see, but we have a great topic that I'm really excited about. We are really reacting to confusing gut health advice. And many of you I know see this advice. You see it on TikTok, you see it on everywhere, right? TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. We're seeing these, whatever you want to call them, right? A lot of them, some of them are health professionals, some of them are not, and we're seeing this advice and it can be super conflicting, super confusing. We're saying go plant-based and someone else is saying plants are bad, and the list goes on and on. So shout out to our intern Maisha, thank you so much, who put together just some videos that she found that are out there and that are confusing. And I really haven't seen, I've seen some, but I don't think I've seen the ones I'm going to be looking at today. um and I want to just, it's live, guys. This is live. I don't know, hopefully the clips are clean, I believe. But if not, we'll have to do some editing later. So if you're watching this later, and it's been edited, great. If you're watching it live, great. The benefit to watching live is that I will see your comments in the chat. I will be able to see your questions, see your comments, react live, and you'll see any mistakes I make as well, but hopefully not. And for those of you just listening, again, you'll be able to hear the audio of the video, so that should go really well. And let me know in the comments down below. I mean, what are some videos you've been seeing? What are some things, maybe videos that have been influencing your friends, your family, your loved ones? You know, we all have that family member who's the resident expert in nutrition, gut health, whatever it is, and they really aren't, right? That's a secret. They aren't really knowledgeable, nor is their life reflecting that of like optimal and thriving gut health or wellness, yet they want to tell you kind of everything and how to live and how to eat. So we all know that, whether it's a friend, family member, or others. So let's get into it, guys. I'm excited. So again, the topic, we're just going to be reacting to some confusing videos that we've seen. And again, shout out to our intern Maisha for putting these clips together. So hopefully, let me know if there's any issues. Let me know if there's any audio issues, but hopefully not. So here's a list. I'm sharing my screen. You guys can see this for those of you just listening. It's basically a list, and I'm just starting at the bottom because I don't think I've seen any of these, and these are on YouTube. So we're gonna just get right into the first clip and talk about it. Ooh, this one looks good, from just a little bubble coming up. I'm gonna click that.
As an essential carbohydrate.
Right. That's something to be said repeatedly, because that's really kind of shocking.
It is. We have, a daily requirement for certain essential fats, certain, fatty acids like omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Protein is massively important.
Yep.
There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate, which isn't to say that you shouldn't eat them.
Right.
But
it's very strange. That's not essential.
Correct. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate.
Do you know why it's strange? That was a good one right off the bat. I'm not gonna lie. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate, and I know who that is. That's Jordan Peterson. The other guy, I forget his name, but I think he's popular as well. You guys can let me know in the comments or the chat, or let me know. But essentially, they're discussing, hey, there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. And let me just put a disclaimer out there. I know we're seeing clips, and that could be the issue too. Is the world is running on clips, like 30 seconds or even less, right? And so I'm not going to like judge them or anything. It's more of just, we are dealing with a population that's being educated via 30-second, 60-second, if you're lucky, 90-second, or if you're really lucky, you're listening to a great podcast, so or a video. So wonderful. But just to comment on that, Really, there's many out there who believe there is an essential carbohydrate, and this is perfect because if you've been following us, we've touched on this topic before, where we are believers that fiber is the essential carbohydrate. So typically there are criteria for something to be essential. We won't go all into that, but ultimately fiber isn't made by our body, right? When there are nutrients that we can't obtain by making it ourselves, we need to obtain it through our environment, aka food, right? Us as humans, we need to eat, we need to drink. And so when we do that, we are obtaining vital nutrients, but there are essential nutrients that we must eat. And I would argue that's fiber, right? Because we can't make it. Um, if we eat it in certain non-carbohydrate foods, it's not there. We're not getting fiber in animal products. So you have to eat plant products to obtain fiber. Plants are creating the cell wall, that structure, especially when we're talking about non-soluble fiber, right? That cell wall of the plant is that fiber, and we need that. I would argue that is the essential carbohydrate. Let's keep going. And if there's any questions on that, I'm happy to answer. But you do need, and I'm glad, they put that caveat in there. You do need carbohydrates. Eat carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are good. I would argue we're going to see fiber being essential later on because as we're learning about the gut microbiome, maybe fiber isn't essential to human cells, but it's essential to our microbial cells. And our microbial cells are essential to our health. Okay. Let's continue. This is good. We're off to a great start. I'm gonna pull up some more. Okay, next one. I'm just going in order, and we'll see what this is. Hopefully, it's not too crazy.
Whole grain bread, eat sourdough. Instead of candy, eat frozen blueberries with honey. Instead of sugar in your coffee, use monk fruit drops. Instead of soda, drink sparkling water. Instead of cooking with canola oil, use avocado oil. If you're a guy that is still watching this, you're interested in...
Okay, now he's running an ad. Okay, so he's doing swaps. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Instead of he did it pretty fast. That's what it is. Like, I don't know how much you can gain from that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could still eat whole grain bread. It doesn't have to be sourdough. Great if it's sourdough. It's fermenting some of the bread, and he gave other healthy swaps. But okay, I'm not mad at that. That's fine. Healthy swaps. I'm all for that. I'm sure we do healthy swaps all the time. A lot of our patients do healthy swaps. That was not bad. That was pretty good. Okay, we're gonna continue. And if anything, yeah, I think it's when people are more of like, you have to do these swaps and you can never eat a dessert. It always has to be fruit. Just swap it out for fruit, right? No, I mean, we eat some yummy desserts and maybe we opt for organic and we try to, sweeten with maple syrup and all that, but it's still a processed dessert in no way, shape, or form. A lot of the desserts that are sweetened with maple syrup, you don't want to eat those every day, right? So if we're talking about everyday things to eat, these swaps can be really, really helpful for sure. Okay, let's see what this is. And I don't know how many we're going to get through, but
easy to think that eating plants are bad for us. What is it about them that might not be so good? Plants don't have claws or teeth, and they can't run away, but a cow has horns, some of them, and they're not going to easily let you kill them, right? It turns out that the plants contain the chemicals that do more warfare than that cow's going to give you when you eat it. So ultimately, it's hard to kill a cow, but that's the very best for you. It's easy to kill kale, but it's the worst thing for you. They kill you from the inside out. They contain the chemicals, the lectins, the oxalates, the phytates, and last I looked, all vegetables, fruit, fiber, seeds, and nuts are mostly sugar, which causes glycation and damages your body. But fatty meat, organ meats, not only is it required, but it'll make you the very, very best. Stop eating plants. Start eating meat.
oh, wow. Oh wow, that was rough, guys. That one was I felt like my blood pressure rise. And I'm seeing some questions come in. Wow, that one yeah, definitely increased my blood pressure a little bit. And let me know. Someone saying Jordan is a carnivore guy. Hello, cool. I love seeing your guys' comments. Thank you. Yeah, Jordan Peterson. Yeah, right. His daughter And again, and guys, and I hope we're commenting on this. Again, we're not going to put anyone down, or I'm not here trying to steal content or anything like that. It's more of just this is content you guys are seeing, what our interns seeing, and we're commenting on it. So yeah, Jordan Peterson has a daughter. I think they do the Lions diet, right, which is essentially a carnivore diet, I believe. But let me know if I'm missing anything with that. And then if for those that watched this last clip, I mean, to straight out say plants are bad, to straight out say, eat cows instead of plants because plants are bad. And of course, he threw in the anti-nutrient argument, right? Like phytates, lectins, oxalates. Man, if you guys have been following us, we've cleared this up. But to comment on this clip, oh my gosh, it's like it's almost like where to begin. I did have to take a deep breath and just kind of reset a little bit because there's so much there. And I will say that when it comes to a diet, we're not saying we don't want to shame you if you're eating animal products. Okay, that's not where we're coming from. Coming from just an unbiased health professional, the Mediterranean diet is one of the most studied diets. It's predominantly plant-based. There are some animal products in there, and that's a very, very healthy diet. So I think that's always a great goal to shoot towards, especially if you're on the standard American diet, which is just very low in fiber, it's very low in plants, it's very low in whole plant foods, right? We want you to increase whole plant foods. So let me just say that. But then getting into that clip and really demonizing plant foods because of phytates and antioxidants, and man, he must have rehearsed that. That sounded like scripted, the way he this won't kill you and this and that, and just like, but what'll kill you? These anti-nutrients, phytates and oxalates. Guess what? Guess what eats phytates, or I should say breaks down phytates and oxalates? Your microbes, right? Your gut microbiome. And so what we say is a lot of these people who are on keto, carnivore, Lion's diet, whatever, a diet, completely void of fiber and carbohydrates and plant foods. And I will comment on the glycation stuff. Oh my gosh, there's so much there. But really what we say is a lot of these people have underlying gut issues. And they just don't know it, or maybe they do know it and they're kind of running from these symptoms, because if you're lacking in the proper microbes, you are going to lack the ability to digest these plants. You're going to lack the ability to properly break down these plants that our ancestors have been eating for thousands and thousands of years. So it's very important to not get caught up in this, like, well, these plants are going to kill you because of XYZ. Well, it's like, that's not the case. And we don't have to be ruminant animals to properly break down these plants. And then to just kind of quickly, because it's such a quick clip, for this guy to just demonize all plant foods as like they're just full of sugar and they're going to cause glycation, that's so silly. It's not based in any evidence or science. Like, it's just so silly. Like, you could say, I mean, if he was showing a picture of like soda and chips and candy, like, okay, I guess. But if you're looking at science when it comes to glycation and diabetes, the main cause of diabetes is elevated blood lipids. It's elevated cellular lipids. So it's actually fat. So it's wagyu. It's saturated fat coming from cow and meat and chicken and dairy. Like, we're seeing that and of course it could be hyper processed, it could be raw, it could be natural, but when you're eating a super high fat diet, you're more likely to become insulin resistant from that fat. And of course there's other factors, and really it goes back to a dysbiosis in your gut causing these issues. It's that dysbiosis that really causes you to not use your blood sugar well. It causes you to, it causes hormonal disruption. Guess what insulin is, guys? A hormone. So it causes a lot of these issues long term. So there's a lot there. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy clip. Okay. Someone said that last video makes me sad. Yeah, like I felt my heart beating more. I was like, okay, I gotta take a breath. That was a lot in one clip. And then I'm seeing some other comments. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna look at some more. But yeah, that last clip was a bit rough. I'm seeing, yeah, anti-nutrients. Yeah, crazy stuff. I know. All right, we're gonna continue. We'll try to get through as many as possible, but have a good kind of just kind of mix, hopefully, but we'll see. A lot of these I feel like will be possibly carnivore related. Not to say, I mean, look, again, we get it. Everyone's on their own journey. I mean, if we've been doing this over a decade as integrative registered dietitians, like there's a lot we didn't know, especially before we became dietitians. After, I mean, there's so much out there, but before, I feel like so many people want to just talk, right? So many people just want to get out there and talk before actually knowing what the heck they're talking about. And let me go on this little rant. And it's because, you know, I get it, because nowadays you have an incentive to talk. Like, I'm talking to you now. Let's start a podcast. Let's clip this. Let's make money off TikTok and let's get brand deals. There's such an incentive to do this. And there are a lot of people that do it for the wrong reasons. They want to make money, they want to sell supplements, they want to do this and that. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you're doing it without coming from a place of experience, without coming from a place, like they say, God knows your heart, right? If you know in your heart it's not coming from a place of actually trying to help people or your patients, then there's a problem there. And only these people know their hearts. But really, I mean, a litmus test, guys, it's very important. You will know them by their fruits, right? So if you're seeing someone, I mean, you see the Liver King with controversy and all these other people, like you'll see their life, you'll see their actions, you'll see the controversy, you'll see, their bling and all this stuff. And it's like, what are they doing, right? What are they doing this for? So, I hope our followers and our community knows, like, we started a private practice. Dahlia had IBS, an undiagnosed SIBO, PCOS, high cholesterol. I was an obese child. Like, this comes from our heart, right? We became health professionals because we needed the help first and foremost. Like, we were so sick. And then we're like, oh, we could help friends and family. And then, oh, this is actually a profession. This is pretty cool. Nutrition and using nutrition and lifestyle. And then diving so deep in gut and the gut microbiome and dysbiosis and SIBO and IMO and all of this has been a true blessing. And, we want to be out here just educating and empowering you all to understand you can heal with each meal, right? To understand you have these healing abilities. You just have to kind of cut through all this nonsense out there, and it can be very powerful. Let me answer this question. Is manna bread, which has no flour or yeast, only wheat berries, okay on a low histamine? Should I ask privately instead? Oh yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Judy. The bread, I don't think it'd be good low histamine, and that actually connects pretty well because we talk about these things, oxalates and phytates and everything else in foods. There's histamines, there's high FODMAP foods. There is some truth there. Like, there are some of our patients who they have such severe gut dysbiosis that they can't properly process histamines or oxalates or FODMAPs. And when they're trying to eat these foods, their symptoms are so severe, it can go from an extreme as being bedridden, where you can't work, you can't function. It can be just annoying, where you're trying to go on a date or be with your family or go to work, and you're constantly like having gas and having to use the restroom all day, and it's distracting you, right? So there's a vast spectrum of these symptoms. So yeah, decreasing some of these in foods, while this is important, this is a big caveat, you can decrease some of these foods while working on your gut to rehabilitate, right? To rebalance and to basically help restructure your gut. As you do that, the goal is then to add more plants. It's not to say plants are bad and evil and they have defense chemicals and never eat them. No, it's to say, how am I going to add them back? That is the big, big difference, right? So that is extremely, extremely important. Is sourdough without yeast okay? Yes, but I you will be hard pressed to find a sourdough without yeast, and sourdough is already fermented, so it will be high histamine. So if you're trying to do and Judy, I would say reference the histamine food handout and then the histamine meal plan. I know Judy is part of our SIBO IBS program, so that will have references to breads. Typically, you're going to be doing flatbreads. You have like the cassava tortillas. You have meal plans and food guide that will show you the low histamine foods, because it can be a little tricky depending on what you're trying to avoid. So that's really important. All right, let's keep going. Wait, where was I? I kind of lost. Benefits of broccoli is what this one's, I think, saying. All right, let's check it out. Okay, let's see.
Is really good for your body because it has several health benefits. Today I'm going to talk about 5 major health benefits of broccoli. The number one, broccoli has high amount of antioxidant compound called sulforaphanes, which can reduce inflammation in the body. Second benefit, it is high in vitamin C, which keeps your immune system in good shape, especially in winters. The third benefit, broccoli is really good for your heart because it reduces blood pressure as well as reduces the bad cholesterol. The next benefit of broccoli is that it is high in vitamin K, which is very important for your bone health. And the last benefit of broccoli is that it is very high in fiber that keeps your gut in good shape and keeps your gut microbiome healthy. Broccoli is really...
All right, I like that. So I think there's a mix here, and to comment on that, I also want to comment on these very positive, like broccoli. Here are benefits of broccoli, and you can list probably 15 more because broccoli is great. And then you'll feel like, well, when I eat broccoli, I feel bloated, and there must be something wrong with me, like, or you point fingers at the broccoli. Well, when I eat broccoli, I'm bloated, so screw broccoli. Broccoli's bad. I'm not doing broccoli, right? And so, but I think a majority of people feel like, man, I should be eating broccoli, and I can't. So there are sometimes these videos are helpful, and then sometimes it can put pressure on you to be like, I need to eat broccoli, but I can't. And that's where we come in. That's really been our niche. That's really been our focus, because I remember Dahlia being there, where it's like, I'm plant-based. I'm trying to eat more plants, and I have more symptoms almost than when I wasn't eating more plants, right? That's super frustrating. Come to find out, oh, you have IBS, you have this dysbiosis, you have SIBO, and you keep digging until you find that root. Once you find that root and properly take care of it, oh, now I can eat broccoli and beans and all these wonderful foods. Totally agree with all those benefits of broccoli. Very important. But the context of like, oh, this is why I can't eat broccoli is very important as well. That was okay, let's see. Fermented foods and inflammation. What is this?
Fermented foods are traditional foods. Every culture in human history has included fermented foods as a centerpiece of their diet. We gave up our opportunity to consume these fermented foods because we were seduced by our canning and processing and preservatives. And we went towards that type of food. Now that's 60% of the American diet. And it's time for us to swing the pendulum back towards a more tradition-based diet. And in this study, Justin Sonnenberg and Christopher Gardner from Stanford introduced people to progressively higher amounts of fermented foods over the course of weeks. What they discovered is that they actually were able to increase the diversity within their gut microbiome, and simultaneously, there was a reduction in inflammation by simply consuming fermented foods.
That's great. Shout out Dr. B. Eat your fermented foods. Very important to eat fermented foods. Yeah, don't let anyone tell you fermented foods are bad. Fermented foods are excellent. However, if you are finding you have histamine intolerance, if you are having issues with histamines, which can be symptoms far and wide ranging, then fermented foods are high histamine. So be careful with that. That doesn't mean never eat them. That doesn't mean you can never eat them again. It means understand what's going on, work with someone very knowledgeable, and understand the root of that. And then you can eat more fermented foods in the very near future, or depending, everything you have going on. Now is a good time to say, this isn't medical advice. Again, consult your dietitian, your doctor, find what's right for you. This is just general advice. But shout out Dr. B's good friend. And let's see. Some of these are positive. Some of these are kind of crazy. Some of the first ones are crazy, but let's see what this is.
Well, you have inflammation in your system. No matter what disease or problem you call it, most likely your diet needs to be changed. If you're eating foods that are processed and refined, like potato chips or any other kind of fast foods, your white breads, your white rices, your biscuits, crackers, all those refined carbs, those fried foods like your French fries, your fried chicken, or even your sugar sweetened beverages, your sodas, and particularly those processed meats, your hams, bacons, and hot dogs, and those trans fats, the shortening, the margarine, that's killing your body. And you must get on an anti-inflammatory diet, your extra virgin olive oil, your nuts, almonds, walnuts, berries, no processed refined sugars, turmeric, vitamin D, green tea, omega-3s, your fatty fishes, your salmon, sardine, your herring, mackerel, anchovies, spirulina, garlic, ginger, and avocados. If your body's not working well.
That's it, guys. I mean, there you go. I mean, he kind of outlined a Mediterranean diet in a way. Basically, that was I got to hand it to this guy. He said that really fast and just boom, 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 boom. So that's pretty good. He basically outlined a Mediterranean diet. So that's a great place to start. My gosh, 13 years ago, that's probably where Dahlia and I started. It took 2 years for us to go fully plant-based. And then, and in that, I think one of the last things I took out was like cheese and fish. And again, and that's not to say you have to do that. We just read a lot of the science. We did what was best for us and our health. But yeah, I mean, everything he mentioned in the first part, which is kind of like trans fats and hyper processed foods. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and say never eat those again, but yes, if you can drastically reduce, if those are once in a while, if those are a very rare kind of food that you're eating, it's just that now we're seeing the opposite, right? We've been for the last 80 years increasing these foods versus making them a rarity, right? And usually it comes down to money, guys. We're seeing this happen because of money. So very fast and quick summary he did. That was pretty good. I'm gonna see if I'm missing any comments. Yeah, perfect. I love it. But yeah, very, very interesting. I've seen some other comments come in. Green oxalates have been demonized. Should we minimize them, particularly the higher oxalate foods like almonds, legumes, some grains, spinach, beet, greens, and chard? So we do have some patients who are having issues with oxalates, but that's not to say oxalate foods are bad. And that's not to say necessarily you have to minimize them. Even some of our patients who are on a low FODMAP diet, that doesn't mean to avoid all FODMAP foods. And for those that aren't aware, you're talking about fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyls. That's what FODMAPs is an acronym, and that's what that stands for. Say that 5 times fast. But essentially, that doesn't mean you have to avoid them. It's just that, okay, there's some issue here. Maybe certain FODMAP foods are bugging you. Typically, we see that in dairy. A lot of dairy foods are a big one for majority of people in general. That is causing GI distress. It is high FODMAP on top of the fact that there's other issues with it. So that's a big one. But when it comes to oxalates, there are higher oxalate foods, and it could just be time. I know a lot of us struggle. I struggle with being patient. And so one of the points we like to make, and if you've been following us, you maybe have heard us say this, but we are living in a time, and there's really no other time like this modern human era where we can drastically shift our diet so quickly, right? You can go from being 100% plant-based one year to then being carnivore the next year, right? And when I say year, it can happen in the span of a week, right? I'm going to Erewhon or Whole Foods or whatever. That's it. I'm done being plant-based. I'm going to be carnivore. And the next day I buy all the meats and whatever and butter sticks and boom, I'm carnivore. For the vast majority of human history, that was not possible, right? If you were going to eat purely carnivore, it would take time to hunt, to move. Maybe you were in South America in the rainforest, and there was lots of fruit and berries and just seeds and plants and roots. And so that's a majority of what you ate versus someone in Alaska or somewhere cold where they were surviving off animal products for the most part, right? To transition to those geographical areas, you'd have to travel, and it could take years. months, I guess, if you're lucky, but years. And by that time, your gut is shifting according to the environment, according to what you're eating, and changing in your food slowly, right? So there's still some people who can change quickly. There's others where you got to be patient and slowly shift. So that is true when you're having issues with oxalates or any of these. I'm seeing another question come in. Is having white rice a few times a week really that bad? No, white rice for a long time got a bad rap. I mean, you when you say you're having it a few times a week, now does that mean like it's a big bowl and a majority of that bowl is white rice, and you're like, I'm trying to lose weight too, and I don't know why I'm not losing weight? Well, there's other issues to discuss, but overall, just especially from a gut health standpoint, white rice is actually great. It's full of resistant starch, and that's going to feed your good gut buggies, as we call them, especially to our daughter, but basically the good microbes in your gut. And then mix it up. I mean, brown rice and forbidden rice and red rice. And, should you do organic? We're big fans of organic. There are a lot of chemicals added to rice, from the processing to the growing. Rice is a massive commodity. So we put a lot of what we think are protective factors to ensure the growth of the rice, but it's really, we could do it a lot better. So yeah, be careful with which rice. Lundberg is a really great brand, and they make a lot of different rices. They're actually certified regenerative organic, one of the first companies to have that. And they're still family owned. So if you're like, when you eat, you should support kind of the brands and the companies actually putting in the great work. It might be a little bit more. So if you can do that, if you can't, then just focus on eating healthy, getting yourself healthy, and go from there, right? We can't do it all in one go. So very important to just kind of take it step by step. All right, let's see if we can get in a good one. Let's do one more. If not, maybe a couple more. But I want to see if we can get a good one. Okay, so let's see. Again, so I hope you. I'm kind of blind. This one says some of these have titles. I wonder. All right, let's see. Let's just go. Oh no, that's the one I was on. Let's see what this is. Best nuts for your gut.
One of the best nuts for your gut health. This nut helps to support a healthy microbiome, which is so important. In this study, those who ate 1.5 ounces of walnuts daily had more good gut bacteria and an increase in butyrate, which is a special fat which helps to nourish our gut flora. We know that walnuts are loaded with polyphenols, which have natural anti-inflammatory effects, and the specific ones that were noted were the elagitannins, which convert to urolithins, which protect the gut from inflammatory responses. So my tip here, eat 4 to 5 walnuts per day to help with your good gut health. Follow for more gut health tips.
Thank you. Follow for more gut health tips. Yeah, eat your walnuts, guys. Yeah, I don't agree with that. It was interesting though. We have to be careful. I mean, many studies are even funded by the Walnut Board, and there's nothing technically wrong with that. But to say you have to eat, what is it, 4 to 5 walnuts a day? I mean, okay, every single day, eat your 4 to 5 walnuts. But if you skip a day, maybe eat some cashews or add some almonds or mix it up with Brazil nuts, which also are really good for your gut as well as your thyroid. And walnuts are also really good for your brain and your liver. And, the list can go on and on. It's not to say like you have to eat walnuts for your gut health. I think there are many people out there that take these videos very literal. Like, okay, this study said I have to eat walnuts every single day. Yeah, but sure, you could. There's nothing bad, but if it's causing you stress or anxiety, just kind of check that and be aware of that, be conscious of that, and realize mixing up any real nut and seed is wonderful. I would say on average, I do pretty much eat walnuts a lot, but in our pantry are cashews and walnuts and Brazil nuts and pumpkin seeds, chia seeds and flax seeds. And we're getting a combination of it all. So it really speaks to that diversity if you can. And someone's saying that's really interesting to learn how important organic is when it comes to rice. Thanks, James. All right, perfect. Yes. I mean, organic really, we kind of are organic nuts, and we've defended it for a long time. There's been a lot, when it comes to organic. A lot of people support us in that. I would say for the most part, there are still some out there who are like organic's a scam, and that could be a whole episode in and of itself. Let us know in the comments if you want an organic episode. That might be a good one, just to really get into the weeds of organic and understanding. For us, the big one, the big one is understanding that when you're buying organic, yes, it's not perfect, but you are supporting healthier soil. So even if, but a lot of the time, we are finding pesticide residue in conventional more so than organic. But one thing is the soil microbiome. So even if there maybe is not a really significant difference in pesticide residue, there's a significant difference in the soil health. And so, you have the people that say, well, banana doesn't need to be organic because it's covered by a peel, and just peel the banana and you're fine. Well, we do know pesticides can seep in. It can alter the microbes that live in the cells of the plant. But most importantly, it's definitely altering the microbes in the soil of the plant. And this is where we're getting soil erosion, soil problems. This is where then we're getting more dependent on synthetic fertilizers. The list goes on and on. So yes, we are big fans of organic, and let us know if you want an organic episode where you can ask questions and we can get into the weeds of that. Okay, one more, and then I'm gonna probably be done. But let's see. Okay, let me know if you're enjoying this. This is new for us. Like, we have this list, and it is kind of like, what are we gonna see? But there's, I guess, some excitement to that. Cabbage juice. This one says cabbage juice. Interesting.
Things happen to me when I drank cabbage juice for 45 days straight. Cabbage juice is usually drank for its gut healing properties. It's actually very high in glutamine, which has been shown to help your intestines be able to better absorb water and nutrients. Some people even use excessive cabbage juice consumption, I'm talking multiple glasses a day, to try to cure their stomach ulcers. I drink one 12-ounce glass of cabbage juice twice a week, and the first thing that I noticed is that it suppressed my appetite a lot. Right after drinking the cabbage juice, I noticed that I just didn't really want to eat anything and didn't feel as hungry. Secondly, this did improve my overall digestion. I would say it gave me about a 25% boost. So not a cure-all for me, but definitely helped get me in the right direction. Would you ever try drinking cabbage juice to fix your digestion? Weird things happen to me when I drink cabbage juice.
Very interesting. Okay. I mean, I know celery juice was all the rage. I haven't really. Has anyone heard of this? Like drinking cabbage juice like that much? I don't know if I've been living under a rock. I gotta check how old that video is. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, your cabbage is in the family of broccoli. It's this beautiful, like, sulforaphane, very sulfur rich. So in that family, what cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, right? Wonderful health benefits for the liver and beyond. Now, what we see in some of our GI patients, though, is they have a lot of issues with sulfur, and you can have something called a hydrogen sulfide SIBO, or an overgrowth, where you're getting excessive sulfur gas production. And what a lot of people don't realize is when we eat, us breathing isn't just to get oxygen; it's also to detox, it's to eliminate. So you can think of your car. I know a lot of cars are electric now, but anything that uses combustion, you're basically getting a gas and chemical reaction. That's our body. We are kind of like combustion beings, where we're taking in food and making all these cool chemicals, ATP. For those of you that geek out on biochem and go back, to college or high school, but we're using these chemicals and really cool chemical reactions to make energy. And that creates waste byproducts, right? That's partly why we exhale. It's carbon dioxide, it's methane. There's so much in our breath that we're getting rid of. And when your gut isn't functioning properly, it can create even more of these gases that we need to get rid of. When the gas is trapped in your bowels, it can cause inflammation, just like you holding your breath would cause inflammation. That is definitely an extreme example, but it's very similar. You're holding your breath, you become hypoxic, right? You're like, I need air, and you're getting a buildup of carbon dioxide. Where is that carbon dioxide coming from? It's coming from the aerobic reactions of your body. It's coming from basically all the reactions of your body are creating a byproduct. So why you start to freak out and like, I need fresh air, is because of all those reactions that can happen in your gut as well. You're maybe constipated, you have an overgrowth, there's more gas being produced in places it shouldn't be. It can be a hydrogen sulfide gas, it could be a methane gas, it could be a hydrogen gas, and it causes extreme irritation. So just be careful. This is a very positive video in a sense of it's almost naive to be like, yeah, everyone do this and drink cabbage juice 45 days. I did it every day. And someone not knowing, or I mean, he's saying it's great for your gut and all of this, and someone not knowing what they have going on, they're going to go, let me try that. And then, it can maybe wreck their gut. I guarantee someone has tried this and felt even worse because they're not aware of what's going on. So for us, we're big fans of if you're having symptoms, if you're unsure, get sure, right? We're big fans of test, not guess. And it really is finding, whether it's a dietitian or gastro or someone who's just more integrative and knows what's going on, to help you understand, what are these symptoms? What does this mean? Will cabbage juice help me? For many, yeah, sure. For others, no, like don't do that, right? We're not saying never drink cabbage juice or eat cabbage, but maybe not right now because you have XYZ going on, and then we'll slowly work that in and build that back up. So this is where overall that was a positive video, but in the wrong context, it can be extremely negative for people. So overall, what I want to end with is just saying, please be careful out there, right? Even with me, don't believe everything I'm saying, right? I've been a dietitian, an integrative registered dietitian for over a decade, but please, I don't know everything. And I guarantee you other wonderful doctors out there and podcast hosts and gastros and dietitians, and there's wonderful people out there, but especially as we get busier and maybe they're doing a lot, they can't know everything. They rely on their team or they get help. And, we can't be, I see some of these podcast hosts that like just talk about so many topics. And it's like, wow, there's no way a person can know everything. And so it's kind of having that hubris. It's being humble. It's realizing, sometimes you gotta say, I don't know. And other times you just focus. We've been hyper focused on the topic of just the gut microbiome, and it is far reaching, but it's important. We're focused on the topic of the gut microbiome in the context of nutrition and your food and your lifestyle, right? That's our really big focus. And mainly because it's helped us personally, but also because we've seen it help thousands and thousands of our patients. So again, that context matters. Don't just trust someone because they have 1 million followers. People can buy followers. People can, create these smoke and mirrors and make it seem like, celery juice or cabbage juice or whatever is the greatest thing ever. But I can't emphasize enough that you should customize your care. You are an individual. We all look like fingers, but as you get closer, you have a unique fingerprint, right? You are unique. So you need that unique care. Okay, if you like this, we'll do it again. Let me know, or send us videos that you want us to react to and check out and comment on. And yeah, this was fun. This was different and exciting in a way where I didn't know what to expect. Let's see. I'm seeing some comments. I'm reading. Let's see. Hey, James, I'm one of your... Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool, guys. Well, perfect. Well, thank you all. I'm seeing some comments here. Thank you all for joining me live. Again, this is Good Gut Live. We do it live, but if you want to find recordings or if you're listening to the recording, thank you. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. Just look for Good Gut Live. You can also visit us at marythealth.com to learn more. Guys, get on our email list. Let me just tell you that. We are very excited. Coming up is in-person events that we want to do that we're really, really excited about. Let me just say, I'm putting this out there. We've been praying about it, but we want it to be on a regenerative farm. We want just really cool things to happen. We are virtual. We do pretty much all telehealth since 2021, and we want to start doing more in-person events. So if you're interested in that, if that sounds really cool to you to just get immersed in gut health on a regenerative farm, make sure go to marriedhealth.com. You'll find it at the bottom or in a pop-up where it says on our newsletter, or you can even just send us an email at info@marriedhealth.com, and we'll make sure you're on our email list for in-person events. So if you're on our email list already, thank you. You'll be getting updates and hear more about that. So we'll talk to you all very, very soon.